today. So every day we start fresh because we can't affect the past, but we damn sure can make a difference today.
Welcome to episode 44 of Shop Talk. We are breaking down the CHENFORD Dance, of course, and then, all of the goodies that we got in 418. So I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Carrie.
And after what seemed to like a long week to get here, we're finally talking about the episode of all episodes, which, I mean, we saw returning characters, proposals, marriage, a party, and yes, the CHENFORD Dance. Like, I'm honestly still surprised that it was shown in the promo because they gave that away. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And then made us wait until the very end for it, but that's okay.
Literally the last scene of the episode, but like it's fine. But like I don't know, we all kind of suspected that the dance there was gonna because Tim had like paused for a minute, and so we just kind of like we assumed that it would be angsty, which it was, but I feel like not as angsty as it could have been.
Yeah.
So plus we got a hilarious like great video that just makes us all want bloopers from season 3 and on of The Rookie.
Yup.
I was not expecting that comedy storyline. Like I was not, and I was not expecting that trio, but like I need more of it, please.
Yeah, it was so fun.
So we do have some news. It's pretty much just about 419. So we'll kind of get started with that. So they shared the promo for the 2-part episode to introduce the Rookie spinoff with Niecy Nash. I don't think that it has a name yet. Have you heard of a name for this show? Right now, I guess.
Oh, like the spin-off show? No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess right now it's still just the backdoor pilot. Like it hasn't been picked up, which makes sense. They want to see how the ratings do. So we got the promo pics for 419 as well. We're back to getting promo pics. Like we got pics for this episode and then for 419. So who knows what happened?
I say that I manifested it, even though I really didn't.
Yeah. So I mean, like, who knows what happened with the last few episodes and not getting promo pics, but like we're back. Like they're blessing us. And just a few like highlights from that. It looks like we're having Nyla and Angela work together again. So yay, because they were fun. And then we have Nolan and Lucy taking cover when the explosion happens, which we saw in the promo, but like I don't know. We saw a promo picture of Lucy and Tim standing next to each other, and like I just had hard eyes like the entire time looking at that. So, and then you had noticed something too.
Well, like it wasn't in like the photos, but like in the like trailer itself, like just seeing their stunt doubles like absolutely killed me. Like just especially seeing John's because it's like
his is so much younger. I don't know.
Nothing like Nathan. I mean, unless you count like the, same hair color and same like skin tone, but it's not like nothing like Nathan.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So that'll be fun. And it airs 4/24. So we have next week off because of like Easter, I'm assuming. And then yeah. So do you want to go through the next piece of news?
Yeah, we have the episode description as well, so that's exciting. It's titled Simone, like after Niecy Nash's character, Simone Clark. It says Officer Nolan and the LA division of the FBI enlist the help of FBI trainee Simone Clark when one of her former students is suspected of terrorism following an explosion at a local power station. So obviously we have Niecy Nash as guest starring, Simone Clark, Felix Solis as Matthew Garza, Kat Foster as Casey Fox, and Frankie Faison as Christopher, quote unquote, Cuddy Clark.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so 419 airs 4/24, and we know that the season finale is 5/15. So like we should have 4 episodes straight like in a row, which is great because lately it's just been like 1 or 2 and then another little hiatus. So I'm looking forward to that.
I did not know the finale was gonna be on May 15th.
Yeah. When I believe it was like the day or the day before when NBC announced their finale dates, ABC had already announced theirs.
Oh, okay. That's
And
fun.
the rookie is like early, like earlier than a lot of other shows, which is interesting considering that they have 22 episodes too, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, so that's fun. I find it interesting that we've gotten like Niecy Nash, we've gotten the news about her, and like, you know, she's coming on to do a potential spinoff and everything. And Jenna Dewan's character is like a regular. What about True Valentino?
Yeah.
Like, we need him as a regular too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Um. Oh yeah.
Sorry,
Go.
go ahead.
No, you go.
As always, Eric and Roslyn have, their podcast. They're still coming out with new episodes, so be sure to check those out. Yeah, they're a riot, and
They are.
they're fun. So
I want to go ahead and manifest that they have more of Eric's co-stars on their podcast, please.
yeah, that'd be so fun.
Like, imagine Sean on there, Alyssa, like
That'd be fun.
even Richard. Like,
Oh my
please,
God. Yeah.
please. Oh my gosh, it would be so good.
hmm
So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into the episode because it was a long one, but so good, so
Mhm.
good.
Yeah. So we're starting with the train robbery case. So obviously, like, Nolan and Chen are paired up since Tim is working with Aaron. So John and Lucy like roll up to the train call. It's like originally originally a robbery. They discover that Larry, who's also known as the Badger, Macer, is on the scene as well. And apparently he's a sergeant now and moved through the ranks quickly since it's through the State Coast Freight Police Department. I'm assuming that's like, kind of like, I don't know if adjacent's the right word, but like to the like real life, like LA Metro, like security probably. I don't know if there's like actually like a transportation like police division, you know what I mean? Like in the LAPD or not. But anyway, so it's like, essentially, as Angela so eloquently puts it later, like he's a trained cop. And so John and Lucy were called, it was like a mutual aid call, kind of to just like look around and kind of figure out what could have been stolen from the train cars by an apparent flash mob. But then their call like kind of takes a turn because Larry's partner, Kenny Wilson, is like, there's shots fired where he is. And so they run to him. They find out that he has been shot. Larry stays with him while John and Lucy try to pursue the suspect, but their shooter flees in a black car. So they decide to like investigate the train car. Like, Larry's going to the hospital with his partner, so Lucy and John decide to go look at the train car until the detectives arrive. They find that like the shooter was looking for a specific item, and they find an empty okay, let me just preface this. For the sake of this, I'm going to say vase. I don't care if other people pronounce it vase. I will not be pronouncing it vase. It bugged me that like Makia was like the only one to actually consistently say vase instead of vase like in the entire episode. I don't know if that's just like a preference or like what, but for the sake of this, my preference, not that anyone cares, but just in case anyone would be wondering why I'm not saying vase, I don't. It is vase. I don't care.
I feel like vase makes it sound very fancy and like bougie.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
I'm
one
like,
that calls it vase too.
Yeah, there's no, I mean, I'm aware that you can pronounce things and there doesn't actually have to be letters,
Yeah.
but just like, because there's night and night, even if there's a K at the beginning of it, it's pronounced the same, but just still, I don't feel like there's an H sound
Yeah.
in vase or because like I had closed captions on while I was doing this outline, and like when Nolan said it, because he was like this vase or vase, and it like had it in a italics, and it was like VAHSE, and I was like, no, not doing
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Anyway, sorry, tangent. I just wanted to preface that in my very long, not short story. But anyway, so they find an empty vase container when Angela and Nyla show up. They are the detectives that are working with them on this case. I loved how Nyla was just like, I can't believe that Larry outranks me. And that's when Angela's like, well, he's a trained cop, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah.
She also tells John and Lucy that someone saw the shooter toss the gun, so their new job is to go rifle through the garbage. Lucy's the one that ends up doing that. If John will like kind of make her primary of the call, like on the call, and he does like agree to that, but then he ends up feeling guilty, and like just as he's about to go dive in to the garbage, he like finds the gun in the trash, and I just love how she was like, she just pops up like all cheery and was like, I found it, like, you know, she was so just like, it's good, we got it.
Yeah, and then she saw the thing on her shoulder and like her little sound. I
Yeah, he
loved
was just like,
everything about this. Like,
yeah,
and like her finding the diaper and like it was so good. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's just-
I don't like her being in the garbage, but I also like love this moment. So
yeah, well, because she's just like, diaper coming, sorry, just like
yeah,
apologizing every 5 seconds for all the things that she's like tossing out at
yeah.
Nolan, like unintentionally.
And when he's like, "Oh, I feel guilty," she's like, "You should." Like, oh my gosh, it was so good. There were a lot of good things about this episode. Like, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah. And of course her remark about how like the good thing about working with Tim is that sergeants don't have to rifle through the trash. Like, true. But you know, since she's with John, that's what she has to do
Yeah.
now. So back at the station, they find out that the boxcar was used to ship auction house items from William Bloomfield, who's like a disgraced billionaire. And so like they're kind of just wondering like how this all connects. An officer comes back with the prints from the gun though, that they found, and they come back to a Brian Schaub. Angela has Lucy and John go pick him up. They like break down the door and everything. You think like, oh, okay, they're gonna like, you know, find this guy, they're gonna arrest him, right?
Yeah.
No, they're too late. He's dead and gone. Like no. Like that lead did not pan out. Like I just seriously was like, oh. Like
Yeah.
my expression like fell flat when I watched it. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it
Okay.
seems like anticlimactic.
Yeah. I was like, oh,
I don't know.
okay, that's fast.
Probably because we watch other cop shows and like when they bust down the door, they find the person.
Yeah,
so.
like usually, or like the person is running away and they have to go chase after
I mean,
him.
not
Yeah.
always, but yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So wow, I was gonna say that's a dead end, and like it literally was. That's a bad pun though. Okay, moving on. So later in the episode, Larry returns to the briefing room, or as Nyla so like I don't even know, just like snarkily put it, like the scene of the crime where he had that misfire in season 3. So he's like returning and like saying how, you know, he wants to work with them on behalf of the, you know, freight PD. But Nyla and Angela are kind of just like, I think John was the one that said it, like kind of they went all mean girl on Larry for his because of his past transgression of the gun misfire, and they don't take him seriously, like brushing him off, saying that they'll CC him on all the reports, but like that's kind of it. Like they're just kind of like dismissive to him, and so he takes that as his cue to leave. He feels bad because he just wants to like use this chance to show everyone that he's a good cop. John being John tries to talk to him. I liked his line of no one should be judged on their worst moment. I'm actually impressed how you've managed to overcome it. So that was a good line because it like, I don't know, because like Larry said thanks and he seemed like it just seemed to like have an impact on him.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good moment. Back in the briefing room, Nyla gets the report back saying that when like I'm assuming their lab people like tried to put the vase back together, they found that it's missing a piece. So they end up calling in William Bloomfield's kids because the oldest kid had 10 items, including the vase, excluded from the auction. So they want to kind of find out like why that was and what in the world, you know, a shard of pottery could like be worth killing for.
Yeah.
So the oldest is Francis, that's Drew Seeley's character. The middle child is Danielle, that was Alicia Ruin's character. And the youngest, which I still can't believe someone would name their child Thackeray. Like, what?
I feel like it's kind of, and no hate, but like I feel like it's kind of a rich person thing. I don't know, like a higher class.
I've
don't
never
know.
heard of it. I've heard of Zachary.
Yeah. I don't
Not
know,
Thackeray. Like,
but when I heard it, I was like, wow, I totally butchered that name.
that just, oh my God. Yeah. But anyway, and then that was Brandon Larquente's character. Anyway, so none of the kids own up to knowing anything about like what happened to the vase or like, and they just kept going on, like each kind of saying a slightly different version of, oh well, it just has sentimental value, like that's why it's so important. But they don't know anything about, you know, like why someone would be killed over it. So they let the kids go. Harper and Lopez have an appointment though with their dad at the prison in the morning, so hopefully that gets some answers for them. I loved this part though, like when Larry interrupts John and Bailey because he's figured out what is so important about the vase. And there are numbers on the vase, and Larry thinks that it's like banking info because apparently William Bloomfield hid some of the money he stole into like offshore accounts. So they like cut over to the station. Larry's explaining everything. It's an IBAN, which apparently is an international bank account number. The letters correspond to the countries. Then there's the digits of the check, and the rest is the bank account number. So since William knew he had to get the vase back before it was sold, he had his cellmate Brian go and steal it. And so now it's like, okay, well then whoever knew about the account numbers killed Brian Schaub because of that. And I hesitate to say like, but just like I thought it was clever how like William doesn't even hesitate when Nyla and Angela go to the prison to talk to him. He's just like, oh yeah, my kids knew about it. Like he just throws them right under the bus. He does not care. Because I guess they like testified against him. And William also gave them the info that like the passwords are hidden on an antique music box, but there was no music box like in the first shipment, I guess. Angela, meanwhile, has sent units to like the Bloomfield kids' workplaces and houses. They find out that there's a new shipment that's coming at 7 that evening, and so she has Larry, John, and Lucy go guard it because that's presumably where the music box is. And I like how like they kind of had Larry like figure out little things along the way. Like he's the one that found out that, you know, like since he is a trained cop, he like, you know, has memorized all the routes and all the information. So he knows that like since there's a fire that was on the tracks, that all the trains that were like running from like the south half or something were diverted to like this all in the same place. So they end up going there. And while the three of them are there, they end up catching the Bloomfield kids, each trying to essentially like attack each other to get the damn
Yeah.
music box. Like it was so weird because I was like, it's dark, right? And so like I can't really tell like which kid is like going first. Like I'm just like, okay, they're all running. And then they're all kind of like not jumping over each other, but like kind of because like
They were
Danielle,
taking each other down to the ground.
yeah, like Danielle and I think it was Thackeray were like fighting over it.
Yeah.
And then Francis got away though.
Yeah, it was like, dang, they're savage. Okay, like,
Yeah.
I mean, yikes.
Yeah. So Francis got away. They eventually end up catching him though. Obviously like all three of them are eventually taken into custody and arrested. But like poor Larry had to get the gun out of the guy's like underwear. I'm just like, poor Larry can't catch a break. Like, even as this, like, you know, trained cop, like, you think, like,
Yeah.
okay, he wouldn't have to do this, like, awkward thing, but nope, he does.
Well, like, I loved his look to Lucy, like, their looks. And
Yeah.
Lucy was like, I'm not going down in there. Like,
Yeah.
no.
He's like, that's all you.
But, like, if Nolan was there, it would definitely be Nolan.
Well, yeah,
That,
because they had
yeah.
Nolan do that when he was
Oh, yeah, with
season
the,
one, when he was, like, not strip searching, but, like,
he was doing
they're
the,
patting him down, or the scan thing or whatever
Yeah.
the hell it's called.
metal
Yeah.
detector thing. Yeah, the wand.
Yeah.
It's late. Oh my gosh.
I know it's so late when we're doing this. It's like 10 o'clock my time right now. So this is what you get, guys. Yeah, so poor Larry can't catch a break. I did like that Lucy like let him make the official call over the radio that, you know, they're code 4. They have them one in custody. And other piece of good news is that the music box was recovered and the passwords were like etched into it. So they have that piece. Angela asked Francis if he killed Brian Schaub like for the account numbers, and his sister yells from the patrol car, "He did it! I can prove it!" And like even his brother was like, "Yeah, he used the gun he had on him." And then Francis, "You guys suck." Like they're like the three of them like played siblings really well.
Yeah, they did.
It was pretty great. And then of course after everyone's kind of like taken away, Larry brings them all in for a hug, and like he even gets like good job from Nyla and Angela, which I thought was nice. And like,
Yeah.
so he ended up proving himself to be a good cop.
Yeah. And like you said, like it was nice that like throughout the storyline they had him like figuring things out, and like, you know, it was a way to redeem himself. So it would be really cool to see him on the spinoff with Niecy Nash.
Oh my
Like,
god.
you know, that would be a good way to like tie in the Rookie and tie in like the new show if that was to get picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Idea. I like
I
that.
know. Yeah. So then we had like one like the cutest storyline of the night. So this was Nyla and James and their proposal. So James like wakes up, you know, and Nyla's sitting there with her tea, and like it's steamy, and she's just like watching him. And she said she's been up since 3 a.m. thanks to light cramps, but you know, it gave her a chance to think. So she's like, I made a decision and I think that we should get married. And he's like, what? And she doesn't even like really repeat herself. She's like, yeah, tomorrow's good because I'm already going to be at court. Like, I mean, you gotta love it. The woman knows what she wants and she's not afraid to tell it like it is. Like, she's gonna tell you when and where, and like, you know, you gotta follow through with it. So then James is like, "Oh, yeah, that's efficient. Like, what is this about?" And Nyla just says it's because someone at the community center called her James's baby mama. And he's like, I'll take care of that. Like, I'll talk to him. But Nyla's like, he's not going to be the only one. We should just get married. Problem solved. Um, and the way that she says it, she almost like shrugs it off like it's no big deal. Um, but then, when asked what he thinks, James is just like, he's a little shocked, a little like speechless, and he's like, yeah, I'm in. Um, and so, okay, I noticed this on my second rewatch because I had seen the subject of ADR come up. I think you were talking about it with Emily from the rookie rewatch. When Nyla goes to like give James a hug, she says, "Let's get married," but no lips are moving.
Oh,
So
I didn't catch
it's
that.
got to be something with the ADR. I don't know because I watched it like repeated a few times, and I was like, there is no lips there moving, right? And yeah, so I don't know. Like we know that ADR was kind of used in a way for the party scene. But yeah, I noticed it with the like beginning scene too, which I thought was interesting. So yeah. So then the next time we see Nyla, she's out of uniform today at the district and helping Angela and Detective Carradine because they're low on detectives. So it's her and Gray are walking. He's like, "Is everything okay with your pregnancy? I don't want you pushing yourself too hard." And Nyla's like, "Yeah, we're good." And we love a sergeant who cares. Like, I love it. I just love that, like, he views all of them, and this is evident too in his toast later on in the episode. But like, he views all of his cops and like their loved ones as like family. Like, I just love it.
Well, and just like he and Nyla, like their relationship has grown like so much, especially
Yeah.
like in this season. But then like it makes me think back to like I guess it was season 2 when she like had to ask him for like that recommendation for
Yeah.
like Lila and like her court date or whatever. And he originally was like, I'm not too comfortable. And now look at them. Like they're just,
Yeah.
They're so nice
They're
and
just so cute.
bonding and
Yeah. So then Nyla like walks over to Angela, and Angela, is just really happy to have Nyla there. So Angela, starts to give the rundown, saying that she's had a crazy backlog of cases. And Nyla's just like, I can't hold the secret anymore. I'm engaged. And so Angela starts asking all the questions, like, when he proposed, when the wedding is, etc. And Angela's like, the backlog can wait. Like, we got to go dress shopping. So Angela then looks down at her hand, notices she doesn't have a ring on. And Nyla's just like, yeah, we're doing things out of order. She says that she proposed to him. It's not really that kind of wedding. They're just doing it at the courthouse, kind of keeping it low key. And James is cool with that. And Angela's like, okay, but what if I threw you like the smallest reception? And Angela's just like so giddy about it. Like, I loved it. I love wedding planning, Angela. And someone I feel like said either in our in our mentions or something, they were like, well, she's planning the wedding that she couldn't. And I was like, too soon. Too soon.
Yeah, I think I saw that somewhere too. And I was like, yes, but also that hurt me.
I know.
Of course, I also watched like 401 earlier today because apparently I love pain. And so that was fun. I was like,
well, you had to
myself.
I was gonna say you had to watch the first CHENFORD dance, but that was 316. So yeah. Yeah. So then like later on in the episode, Angela and Nyla are waiting for, the Bloomfield's father. And Angela's like, so the place that I got my dress at is having a trunk sale this weekend. Like, we should go. And Nyla just mentions, because this was after the whole like talk with James. Nyla's like, yeah, the wedding might be off. And so Angela like starts to ask, but then they get interrupted because the inmate comes in. So Nyla and Jackson are not Nyla and Jackson. Oh my God, I'm getting my names mixed up. Nyla and James are talking in the break room, and Nyla's just like, yeah, I'm 100% sure. And we can't do it justice. So here's the audio of the full proposal.
Every morning when I wake up, I am glad that it is next to you. And I want to keep waking up next to you until we are old and gray. And yes, this baby sped things up a little bit, but we were always going to get there. Because I love you.
Well, I guess it's a good thing that I bought this today. Nyla, Harper, will you?
Yes, yes. but, for the record, if anyone asks, I proposed to you.
Yeah, so Nyla and James are officially engaged. And I had all of the hard eyes last night. Like, they were just adorable. The way that Nyla like pulled James up, and then they heard the sniffles, and
Yeah.
it's Smitty. He was just chilling in there, like reading a magazine or whatever. It
Yeah.
looked like he was taking a nap or something,
Mhm.
and he was just like toast beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
it truly was Smitty.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was like a meme worthy
yeah.
couple lines that he had there.
People like after the show were already using it in regards to Chenford. Like
Me
in the meme and the video. I was like, perfect. This is how fandom is, and I love it.
Yeah.
Um
I just enjoy that we now have like couples on both of our top shows that we watch, that have
Yes.
multiple
proposals. Because
So, that's
that's
fun.
the way that a great couple is. Like that's the hallmark of a great couple, is having multiple proposals.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. This show just knows how to bring the comedy. Like that moment plus others in the episode. I was just like, this is one of the best episodes. Like, I
Mhm.
think of this season.
Yeah, I was laughing like there were just so many moments too. Like just
Yeah.
I mean like from this section, but then just other like just the pairings were great. We got a little bit of a
Mhm.
switch up, like, but then there's still, like we can always count on, people like Smitty
Yeah.
to make an appearance and bring comedy.
I mean, I definitely have to go back and rewatch like this entire season. Not just for The Rookie, but like for other shows too, because of all the little like hiatuses and breaks.
Mhm.
I'm just like, I've forgotten what happened like
Yeah.
in the first few episodes. Like if it wasn't huge moments, but even then, like other
Yeah.
big moments, I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen. So I have to like go back and rewatch.
I know, like September when it premiered, like when season 4 premiered for The Rookie seems like so long ago. I mean, it
Yeah.
was, but like it just seems like an exponentially like a long time ago.
Yeah, it feels like, because some of like a lot of our shows, I even think The Rookie is like filming their last episode, like the finale. So I'm just like, it's crazy that they're already filming that, and like we're already at the end of the season. Like it seems like it went by so fast, but then I'm also like, but in reality, we have like a ton of little breaks, and then we have like a big long break. Like I don't know. And then I'm also just like, but I've also forgotten like what's happened in half of the season, it seems like. So yeah. I don't know if I really want to watch 401 again, because that episode hurt
Hurt
in
me.
like every way.
I
Good and bad.
I once again like teared up within the first 5 minutes because I just like, not that I forgot, but I just like they did it so like they did it so impactfully that it like
Yeah.
it hurts to watch again.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll skip the first 5 minutes. Like I don't need to relive that pain. But also I
Yeah.
kind of want to.
I know I'm terrible with that. Like I will watch like the saddest things, like when my friend Kristen and I went to Chicago, I like had her
Uh-huh.
watch the season 5 finale of Chicago Fire.
Oh my god.
For Dossie, just the clip though of them like fucking crying over each other, and I'm
I
like,
stopped my binge watch of Fire on that episode. I was like, I can't do it. And I know what happens, but I can't do it.
yeah, I was like, why? And she's like, why are you showing me this? And I'm like, I really can't explain it. I'm just drawn to like sad things. It's terrible, but it's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway,
I
another
also
tangent. Sorry.
I also kind of want to rewatch 212 or Day of Death, literally for no reason other than like just to see Chenford. But yeah. I don't know. There's comfort in rewatching stuff that like you've already seen. because
Mhm.
like it just like it helps. But I'm also like, is it a problem if I want to rewatch episodes that have caused pain before? Because I feel like that's not normal. Like, sure, watch a comedy, like, because it gives you
I'm not one
laughs.
to ask because I watch like sad or like dark things.
Yeah. But I'm like, is watching an episode where your favorite character gets like almost killed or is kidnapped and tortured, like, is that a good comfort episode? I don't know.
I just think I don't know. I think like for me, it's like I enjoy seeing like not redemption arcs, but like um like overcoming adversity or like how
Uh-huh.
they, then like the aftermath of the
Yeah.
terrible situation, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
I
I don't
enjoy
know.
seeing like
Yeah.
the character kind of figure their way out and like
Yeah.
and the
Mhm.
actor kill it anyway. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, anyways, back to the episode. Back to the
Sorry.
happiest part of the episode. So, so we're at the reception and everyone's just like chilling, dancing, having a great time. And Wesley goes over to Angela and compliments her and he's like, "How did you pull it together so fast?" And she's like, "I had a little help." And she looks over to Aaron and I loved this whole sequence because we got to see everyone interacting with Aaron like off of the job.
Mhm.
And like
Oh
we
yeah,
haven't
it's
seen that
true.
before.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so then we had a cute little Lopez moment. We had cute moments for each individual couple, and it was the best thing ever.
Mhm.
So then like Lucy, Balin, and Lila are all sitting at like a table. And Lucy, asks Lila if she's ready to be a big sister. And, Lila's like, yeah, I can't wait to like play with her and, do things with her and everything. Um, and so then Angela calls out that Nyla and James are coming. And when they are walking down the steps, like, oh my God, they just look so good. And everyone's
Mm.
cheering for them. And it's just like, it's such a cute, like, family moment.
Mhm.
Such a cute family moment. So then the newlyweds flash their rings. Angela's like, oh, let's dance, get the party started. A few things to note. So Silas is the DJ, which
And
what happened
Smitty
to
is not.
Smitty? Yeah, what
And
happened to
Smitty is
Smitty being
not.
the DJ?
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Like they had Smitty do like that moment in the break room or whatever because he wasn't the DJ.
True.
So there you go. He got to witness the second proposal.
See, my other thought was Angela and Wesley did have a wedding of some kind, whether it was something like this where they went to the courthouse and then like just had a little reception, or they ended up having like a big wedding like as the second chance. And Smitty was the DJ and like royally screwed it up. And when Angela was playing it, she's like, Smitty's not the DJ this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Fair.
that's my little headcanon, but yeah.
Fair.
So then everyone hits the dance floor. We even get a cute Nyla and Lila moment. And Lila's just like, "Oh, I love when you're happy," and James makes you happy. And so then like we go back over to Lopez, and Angela is taking off her shoes, which I thought that this was so cute and just like, oh my god, my Lopez heart was just like bursting at this because she's like kind of stumbling. It looks like taking off her shoes, and for a minute it looked like she was like hanging on to Wesley, and then she like holds her shoes like over his shoulder, and he's like, you've been saying that you were excited to wear those again, like they're your going out shoes, and now you're taking them off. And Angela's just like, well, it's a good party. If it's a good party, I'm taking them off. And I don't know,
So true.
when she was stumbling a little bit, I was like, is my girl tipsy a little? Like, okay, I see it. I don't, it was just so good. Her hair, her outfit, like everyone was just like on point in this. And I was like, this is everything that I've always wanted. Like,
Yeah.
give me more of this. So then we go over to Balin, and John's just like, oh, I apologize for our date night being interrupted. And she's like, it's pretty tame for what we've had before, which I mean, true.
Like
Because they can't,
literally, I like died laughing. I was like, how many times have I said this? I was like, oh my God, they're listening. Not really. That's totally false. But like, I was just like, oh my God. Like, I was like, yes, exactly. They can't
Yeah.
have a normal day ever.
Like at this point, it's just canon in the rookie universe that they just are not destined to have a normal date. Like I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely killed me.
Yeah. It was too good. And then John's like, well, I'll just have to make it up to you. And I was like, okay. We also had another cringy moment in this episode for
Oh, right. I
Balin.
didn't talk about that at the very beginning.
I literally tweeted last night and I was like, what is up with all this? Like
I
I
saw
don't
that.
need
I was
it.
like, oh my God, Jennifer.
I was like, I don't need all of this. Like, please. I'm fine with
Yeah.
some of it. Like, that's
Mm,
realistic for a couple, but not
yeah.
all the time. Like, we don't need it.
I
It's
just don't like the
unnecessary.
mention of like, I'm aware that there are no like really good ways to say like underwear
Undergarments.
or
Yeah.
or undergarment, but I hate that. I
Yeah.
hate undergarments. I hate that.
But like, I also don't need to hear her say, like, I've got a new, like, a lacy thing to go underneath. I'm like,
Yeah.
no. Can you just say that you have a surprise for him or something, like when you come home?
Yeah.
Like, I would happily take that. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't mind Balin. Like,
Yeah.
they're kind of cute, but like those cringy moments, I'm like, we don't need that. No one needs that.
Well, see, I think in your like you talked about the one from last
Oh my god, that one was
week,
worse, I
and
think.
then yeah, and so I think it's just like unfortunately we got them like back to back technically because it was like end of the episode for last week, beginning of the
Yeah.
episode for this week. So
I mean, they definitely got it down, but like, we don't need to hear it.
mhm.
I mean, thank God that we don't like, I don't know, see it or something, but it is ABC. They got to keep it tame. But like,
Yeah.
no more, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then Lila, Nyla, and James are all dancing. And Lila's like, oh, I was hoping that my new brothers would be here. But apparently they're away with their mom and they're having dinner next week, like as a blended family. So I'm just like, when are we gonna see that?
Yeah.
Because to me, I'm like, okay, is this their first time meeting? Have they met before? I don't know. So
I also like because like they said like sister, like so Nyla's gonna have a girl then, right? So
yeah.
that like is how they kind of snuck that in there. 'Cause,
They
like
said that a
her
few weeks ago too.
oh did they?
Like
Did
when
I miss that?
she was on the hunt for that doll or something. Yeah, she was
Oh
like, I want my daughter to
right.
have this. But at the
Right.
time, I kind of thought like, oh, she means Lila. But then
Oh, that's true. I forgot
yeah.
about that.
Which okay, I think if they're having Nyla and James go so far to like get married and stuff, I feel like the baby is James's.
Literally, it has to be. If it's not,
It has to be.
I will like sue. Like I can't. That would hurt too much. Like because that would absolutely just devastate Nyla and devastate everyone. That
I mean, at this point, it just feels like it would be so out of left field if it was Donovan.
yeah.
But like, didn't we get like news that there was going to be a love triangle between Nyla, Donovan, and James?
Well, like I know they said like he was gonna come back and like it was gonna affect her down the line, but I don't know if that was like the
Court thing?
like the like the first half of the season then, if that's what they meant by down the line.
Yeah.
Since
I
we're
don't
in the
know,
second
but
half
like,
now, I don't know either.
I don't
You
know. I
never
just
know.
feel like
The
holding my
finale could
breath.
bring him back and like we think it's for that reason, but it's for a completely different one. Like who knows?
Yeah.
Who
I'm
knows?
still like holding my breath, but like the more that we go on with him, like, no, they can't be doing it with Donovan's baby because I mean they wouldn't have had them get married and stuff, I feel like.
Yeah. Well,
But
and Nyla like confronts I mean, usually anyway, like is very headstrong and like confronts things head on.
yeah.
So like for her to like keep that to herself for like so long kind of
Yeah, but
seems
like what if she doesn't know?
oh that's true. Yeah.
But I would think that she would know, like
No.
with the conception date and stuff.
We'll see,
But
because but then like we don't even know because the freaking timeline on this show is so
yeah.
like
Yeah.
weird at times. So I don't know.
I don't know. I think it'll just be a big surprise.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I don't want it to be non-events because everyone seems so happy and like I don't want that to be ruined, but I'm also like cliffhanger kind of, but that's not really going to be like a good juicy cliffhanger. So, I don't know. But then James goes to get ginger ales for Nyla and Lila, and it's just so cute. Like, I don't know. I love it, and I love James. Um, so then Wesley is like, sitting at the bar, and he sees James coming over, and I don't know. He was just like waiting for him to talk. Like he was just waiting for him there. I love their bromance, and I need more of it. Like
Yeah, this was my
ASAP.
like favorite like
Yeah,
party moment
yeah.
for them. Yeah.
Because Wesley's like, so how is it being married to Nyla? And James is just like, no words, pure joy. And the camera like cuts over to her and Lila just dancing and being so cute. And I was like, this is literally like at this point, I was like, I'm at my weakest moment. Like, and there's still more to come.
Yeah.
I was like, am I on cloud nine here? So so then Gray gives us toast gives a toast to the newlyweds and the callback to when we met Nyla. Like everything about the toast was just so good. And like all of the couples were standing next to each other. We had Bayla, Lopez, Nyla and James, and then Chenford. And I was just like, okay, I love this even more. Like because it kind of panned to everyone. And yeah, I mean, just the idea of family, like on the show, like I love it. I love how everyone is just like included. Everyone knows each other. It's never like an awkward, oh, like, hey, you're, this person, which I mean, in TV, it isn't usually, but you never know. So then after the toast, Silas starts playing the bloopers of the video PSAs that they did. And this, I mean, if we weren't already laughing so much in the episode, like from some of the other things that were said and mentioned and everything, this would have been like the highlight of the night for everyone. I mean, it kind of was. But it was so cute and I need more of it. I mean, when I was doing the outline, like I rewinded Hulu like 4 different times to watch this. Like this trio, the video, like the outtakes, the everything, we need more of it. And it was all laughs until we got to see James and Nyla's proposal in the break room, and everyone's just like hard eyes watching it, just like all of us. And yeah, it was the best. So then we go back and everyone's dancing again, and then we get Tim going like talking to Lucy, and this is the point where we all melted and like just had a full breakdown. Which okay, I'm kind of mad that the promo spoiled it. Like spoiled them actually dancing.
Yeah.
Cuz I was kind of like I'd rather like not know that that was coming and then like watch the episode and just like black out right then.
Yeah.
But
Well, see,
yeah.
I was just like waiting because I was just like waiting and waiting and waiting. And I remember
Yeah.
I texted you and I was like, oh, hell, we're having another like last 10 minutes of a party thing
Yeah.
again. Like, so I was like, oh God, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where
Yeah.
is it? Where is it? Because like I was still waiting within those 10 minutes and it still hadn't happened yet. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
The very, very last moment.
I tweeted last night. I was like, okay, we're done with this case now. Like, let's get to this party because there is so much that has to happen. And then, like, we went through the party, we were going through, and I was like, okay, we have 5 minutes left. Where's the stance? Like, where? And then it was the last scene of the episode, and I was like, oh my God, this makes it all the more worth it. Like, all the more worth it. So yeah, that was it for Nyla, James, the proposal, and most of the party. Because we gotta do it justice for like the best part of the party. Which I mean, I know that I said that about everything, but they
Just the
really
whole
are the
entire
show.
That's true. I mean, the whole entire party, I mean, like, Nyla and James were just like adorable. Like, they're like just so good. And it makes me upset that that 402 scene is on the cutting room floor somewhere for Lopez.
Yeah.
Like, hello.
Dude, there's a lot of things on the cutting room floor because that entire like JC Penney's look like ad
Yeah.
scene
Mhm.
all on the cutting
Exactly.
room floor.
Yeah.
I will pay whatever it takes to get that scene. Whatever it takes. Please let me know the price and I've got it.
Yep. Yeah. But just I don't know, because like I mean Chenford was good, yeah. But just I mean, I feel like it was just like Nyla and James, like it was like their time to shine, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
So, but speaking of Chenford, that's our next subject. Well, it's like Lucy and Tim, since like they were separated, we're gonna talk about like their like separate days. So like since Tim was paired up with Aaron and then Lucy's paired up with John. Yeah. So they begin the episode. They're actually like Chenford's walking together, which was good. I was like, okay, I'm here for that.
Oh my god, they were adorable when they were walking together.
Well, because then we just get to appreciate their height difference more. And I was like, I'm here for that. Like,
well, and Lucy was so loud. She was loud. I was like, please hide it better.
Yeah. Because obviously, like I said, so it begins with Tim is telling her that he'll be riding, like Gray wants him to ride with Aaron today, so Lucy will be with Nolan. I enjoy that like Tim always calls John Nolan.
Yeah.
And then like later on in the episode, or well, not much later on, but like Lucy called John Nolan like a little bit later in this episode, and like I thought that was funny because she doesn't usually. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, the whole like don't miss me too much thing was like so good. And just like yeah, it like what was it? I can't remember the episode.
The one where she was like, you don't have to, like, you can just ask me if you want me to be your
that
aide. Yeah.
But then like the first time she complains to Nolan about like Tim, and I think it was it 402? It might have been when she's like, oh well, I know he's missing me right now, or something to that effect, you know. So it's like she always can like kind of like bring it back to like that, like, and use that as like a motivation or something, or just like a, you know, piece of information to like file away for use later. I don't know. Yeah, but that was good. They're like kind of that, you know, Lucy moment is like past when like I think it was Webb, right, that came up kind of in passing and like told Tim, you know, good job on the Stewart case, and he's like, thanks. But then we get Lucy being all mad because she was the one that did a lot of the work for that case, including apparently getting punched by the guy. And I was like, one? Well, okay, here's my thing though. Number one, I should say that like it bugs me when shows like do this, like we don't actually see the thing that they're sometimes talking about, you know, like Chenford with the goat, for example, or like this case, like not that I need to see poor Lucy like doing all the work and like getting hit or whatever, but just like I like to be somewhat familiar so they don't just have to like fill in all these random details. But anyway, so yeah, and so she's kind of like, okay, well then like implying like, okay, well why doesn't everyone know that like I did all this work? So Tim tries to remedy that by telling Webb, he's like, I couldn't have done it without Officer Chen. And she, you know, like he kind of thought that that would solve it, but she's like, well, now he just thinks that you're selfless. And Tim's kind of wondering like if she's jealous, but she's like, no, it's just nice to get recognition. So it's kind of, and then like Aaron, oh my god, and Aaron coming over though, and like you would think that like since Lucy's offered him advice in the past about, um like being a rookie or like how to kind of navigate
Yeah.
the ins and outs of that like training period, you'd think like, oh, okay, she's gonna have some other like words of wisdom, and she's like, just don't let him take all the credit for your work. And he's like, I'm not really sure how that applies to me, but okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, so obviously this whole thing is kind of like getting under Lucy's skin. Um but so like for Tim and Aaron, so they end up riding together. Aaron's kind of like all ready for whatever Tim tests that Bradford has planned. But Tim like surprises him. Honestly, it surprised me too, because I was fully expecting the what's his classic thing of like where he stops the car, right? And he's like, I've been shot.
Yeah.
I was literally expecting that. I just because he
I
did it with
know.
Chen, he did it with
Jackson.
Jackson.
I know. I was kind of expecting like the whole like rookie TO
Yeah.
like gamut, and we didn't get that, which I was a
No.
little bummed. But he
Yeah.
did call him Boot, and I was like,
That's true.
wow, that's a
That's
nice
true.
little surprise.
Yeah. But yeah, so that kind of surprised, like Tim surprises everyone apparently. It's like he's not doing like the usual Tim test today. Instead, they're going to work on finding Aaron's superpower as an officer so he can get a feel for like how he'll be once he's out of the FTO program. And so Aaron's kind of like, okay, well, like, kind of looks at him like, what do you mean? And so he mentions that Nyla's is that she's a chameleon. Chen has her empathy, and Nolan talks a lot.
Yeah.
Like
The way that Tim delivered that line, that Eric delivered that line, I was
yeah.
like, this is the best line of the night, I think. Like,
Yeah,
I was like, sorry, Nolan.
talks a lot. Like, yeah, it's so true. Um,
Tim didn't say what Angela's superpower
I
is,
know.
though, and
Yeah,
I was
just
like,
gonna say that.
dude.
Yeah, I would kind of say, let's think about this though. I wanna know your thoughts now. Like, what would Angela's be? Because like I'm kind of thinking like, kind of like her attitude, like her kind of like, like or like confidence, I guess, in like knowing how to do things and like how her ways are good.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know if that, I mean, yeah, it's like a superpower because she's just so like badass. Like I mean, she's not like so blunt as like Nyla, but just like she still has that like authoritative, like,
Yeah.
this is how it is, this is how I'm doing it, therefore you need to listen to me.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good one, because I was gonna say the way that she is in the interrogation room, like she
Ooh,
knows
that
what it
too,
takes
though.
to
Yeah.
get something done and like a case
Yeah.
solved.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Or just like her, what was it that Wesley, or no, who was talking about, like, no, Tim was like, we accept Wesley because we fear Lopez. But like
Yeah.
fear is not exactly, that doesn't really have a positive connotation though.
So it's got to be like her confidence.
Yeah.
Or like her demeanor or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Her personality. Like she's a tough cookie, like she's in it for the long haul. I mean, not saying that the others aren't, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I wish that Tim would have said hers too, because when he was like saying Chen and Harper and Nolan, I was like, but what about Lopez?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was.
And then you could even fight, or you could even argue that he left out Gray too, but Gray's a sergeant. But I mean, still, like he's got to have like a superpower. So
because then, like he mentioned Smitty. Because like if you don't have a superpower, then you become Smitty. And I'm like, while that line was also funny and one of my other favorites, I was just like, okay, so we know what Smitty's superpowers are not. But we don't know what Angela's is.
Yeah. Well, that was before the whole like proposal too. So it was like,
Yeah.
oh, we get a Smithy mention and he's not even here. And then it was like, oh my gosh, that's such a great line. And then we get Smithy like later on in the episode.
Yeah.
But like
Mhm.
Aaron's face when Tim was like, you become a Smitty. Aaron's face was just like, oh no, I don't want that.
Yeah, no one wants that. Yeah, but I mean, I kind of noticed that like Lucy's had like, I don't know, what I would assume is like a line and a half of an explanation of like her empathy.
Yeah.
Whereas like Nyla's was just like Nyla's a chameleon. No one
I
talks a
tweeted out
lot.
last night. It was like, Tim, just say that you love her empathy. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just say that you love her.
Yeah. So maybe that was like a subtle, nod to their upcoming like scenes like later on or something. I don't know. Because I feel like he like rethought how he was with her earlier, I would think. Which is kind of funny because like usually I guess I really shouldn't say usually when they argue, they end up having to ride in the shop together. But
Yeah.
quite often after an awkward moment, they're still in the shop together. So it was kind of interesting that neither like they're both with separate parties.
But people were saying that Tim did change through the episode and like they weren't sure what changed him, but I mean, it could be that. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. And so their first like, I guess like they had like what 3 shorter calls, I guess.
Yeah.
Their first call was there's a red fancy car that a guy was kind of seen like tinkering with, and they either like it's not his car or he's like just not that smart of a guy to try to jack it or something. And so because they think it could be stolen, they try to pull him over. And Aaron kind of uses his connections, I guess, by like knowing the only Lamborghini dealer in California, and asking the guy like where he got the car and like who he talked to about it. And the guy, of course, since it's not his car, he doesn't actually know. And so Aaron like proves him wrong, and that's how they catch him. Although
I love how this guy just like starts driving, like not even like revs up. He just like starts like rolling away in there.
Yeah, well, because he doesn't know how to work
walk along.
Yeah, it was so funny. I was like, okay, like minimal effort for like maximum effect.
Yeah, it was too good.
Yeah, it was pretty great. So that was their first thing. It kind of cuts off when Tim's like, okay, seriously, get out. Like he was so done with it. He's like, okay, get out. Like, and the guy finally did kind of stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like next up, their next kind of shorter call is they are called to like a lake where a guy is like magnet fishing, which apparently is a thing that I've never heard of, but
neither have I.
That's a thing apparently. And he found a dangerous weapon, which turned out to be a sword. And Aaron made the connection of like, oh, there's this homicide that had happened earlier, that like they thought the murder weapon could be a sword. And so the guy, like, they take that into account. And then the guy's like kind of inventorying what am I saying? Taking inventory? Good Lord, inventorying is not a word. I promise I studied English in school. And so he shows him a grenade, right? And so Aaron, like before Tim can even be like, this is not a thing, Aaron tackles him to the ground. Like, that is done. He's just like, grenade, and then jump. And so as Tim is on the ground, he's like, apparently your superpower is not identifying fake grenades. So there's that. And I like how like we at least get a little bit of a follow-up to that though, because I was like, it looked real to me. Like, how is that not a, thing? I was like
Mhm.
looking at it and I was like literally trying to see because the guy held it, like not sideways, but like the angle was from the side, so it
Yeah.
was like I'm trying to look at it and I'm like, it looks real to me. I'm like, what the heck? But apparently they know, or well, Tim knows it's fake because it was blue apparently, and so that was like a color differentiation, makes it easy to identify, and now we know, and now so does Aaron, so that's good.
Yep.
But poor Tim, oh my god, getting stuck in the geese. I don't want to just crap
And the goose
essentially.
poop.
Yeah. That sucks. But see, good thing about this though is we got them like in the white t-shirts, which was fun.
Yes.
So there's the trade-off.
With their vests over them.
Yeah.
But like okay, so we had the behind the scenes clip of like, Eric and True, like, with those geese and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, did they place those geese there for filming or did they just get lucky?
Oh, that's true. You want to know what I thought though? And you're gonna like think I'm like absolutely ridiculous. I literally thought Tim landed on a goose.
I didn't even see the goose poop until he got up.
No, I didn't either. I was like, okay, why is he like freaking out? And then like, yeah, it does the over the shoulder thing, but I literally thought they like landed on a goose.
I feel like those geese had to be there for the show because in the behind the scenes pictures and stuff, they were very close to those geese, and those geese are mean. So
They
I'm like,
are, yeah.
I don't think that they would let you get that close, but yeah, I
They
don't know.
can be, yeah.
They had to have been there like for the show to like, I don't know, be trained or something.
They've had so many animals. Like, so I was
They
watching
have.
401 and there's the bunny that first is on screen. We had the dog. And now
We had a mention of a goat, but never saw that. So
Yep. Yeah. But anyway, so Aaron mentions like while they're changing out, he mentions that he is a sword guy, or bladesmith, as it's more appropriately called, who's in the know about all this weaponry, and Aaron sent the guy a photo of the sword, and not only does he like is he the one that makes it, he gave him the name of the woman that bought it, which then implies that she's the one that committed the homicide, therefore he kind of quickly solved that case. But oh my god, another line that Eric delivers so brilliantly is, I don't care, get to the point. When Aaron was going on about like his high school manga phase, like that fucking killed me. I was like, mood right there. I don't care, get to the point. Like Tim doesn't care.
yeah.
And it was just great. And so it's kind of how Aaron is thinking like, okay, well, maybe solving cases in record time is my superpower. And Tim's just kind of like, like doesn't really directly respond to that one. So like back at the station, Aaron's like, okay, well, maybe it's my powers of oh my god. This is what happens when it's too late. I can't speak. Deduction. And cue Tim's, really? Because he cracked those cases by being rich. So he's kind of like, well, Aaron, you should just kind of face the fact that your superpower is having money. But Aaron is not one to give up. So like, cut to the next day. They're in the shop. He tells Tim that he's thought about it all night and that he has skills beyond his parents' money. For example, and then he goes on this list. Nothing phases him. Cue Tim. You almost vomited at the sight of a dead body on your first day. Okay, so we're checking that one off. That's not a thing anymore. He has a strong sense of justice. Cue Tim. Congrats, you're just like every other cop. So that one's done. Number 2 is done. Aaron tries again. He's like, okay, I can spot liars. Cue Tim. You believed your mom when she said you wasn't in Paris and in LA. Plus, your friend was a murderer and you didn't know.
Yeah.
So, strike 3. He's done. He's out. So I just thought that was brilliantly written and very like in character, and it cracked me up.
I feel like all of this was a Tim test, just like revamped, because he was still making Eric like spin it or making Eric. Oh my god.
This is what happens when it's too late. It's like 10:51 my time, 9:51 your time. It's terrible.
Making Aaron spin in circles. I
That
mean,
was so
that's
true.
classic. Yeah. So it
Yeah.
wasn't a Tim test necessarily, but it was.
But like, yeah, but it
Because he was making him spin in circles and like rethinking everything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
You gotta love Tim
Genius.
Bradford. Timothy
Mhm.
Bradford.
Mhm. Genius.
No.
Yeah. So Aaron's kind of like thinking, oh, okay, I'm back to square one now. But their last call is a couple who is arguing because the dad wants to see his kid after he just got paroled, but the mom doesn't want him there. So Aaron kind of takes the guy aside and is like, can I talk to you for a second? He's like, I don't really know what there is to talk about. But Aaron tells him that he knows like it's got to be hard for him, that like he kind of pictured this moment going differently, but that his family's been out there like in the real world, like living their lives. And while they might not be ready to let him back in yet, maybe they will be down the road. And so Aaron gives the guy his card and tells him to call if he wants to talk. And he's kind of left with that like satisfied like feeling when Tim's like, okay, good job. Which I'm glad they didn't end it there though, because I wanted this next scene that they had at the party of like Tim talking to Aaron and being like, I think that you know what your superpower is, that like it's his compassion, since he knows all about incarceration, and that like he's able to use that on the streets for like good, to like build himself up, and it's something that he can like build his career on as well. But then like literally 5 seconds later, also Tim, never talk about what happened at the park. Like, okay, sure, that's fine. I mean, I can't really blame Tim, but it was, oh my god, it was so funny. Like, I didn't know what that scene was gonna be with like True and Eric, but it just cracked me up that it was like what did the rookie account say? A Tim tackle as opposed to a Tim test.
I mean, if I was a sergeant, I wouldn't want anyone to know that happened either.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like when we get brash and like gruff, like kind of T.O. Bradford, like he's back in those shoes or whatever. I feel like that's when we really get soft Tim afterwards.
Yeah,
definitely. Like I would like that more. I mean, he could still be like that and be a sergeant, but yeah, I definitely feel like when we get that like gruff, like just hard exterior Tim Bradford is, then like we get soft Tim Bradford like in the same episode. It's the best, and I would like it more.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know why I formatted it like this either, because I just talked about Tim for like 10 minutes, and then so we're going back to Lucy now, guys. I swear
it makes sense though. It does.
Thanks, I appreciate that. So back to Lucy. Lucy is of course complaining about to John how Tim's the worst, and like how John is supposed to be listening to her complaints and like essentially agreeing with her that Tim's the worst and not trying to fix her problem. And I mentioned it earlier, Lucy like called John Nolan. Like, I don't know if she's ever done that before. Was that the sneak peek we got early in the week, right? Yeah.
Yep, on Tuesday.
Yeah,
the only sneak peek. I was like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Lucy's like seeing a downside. It was kind of funny how John was the one to mention that like it was her idea to ride with Tim in the first place. Mm-hmm. But he also knows that like if she wants to be reassigned, and like tells Tim that he'd probably understand. But I feel like Lucy's like diversion, like saying how like, no, I want you to like not fix the problem, was her way of saying, no, I don't actually want to be reassigned to Tim. I just need to like air this out for a minute and like complain or vent.
Yeah, she didn't even really need Nolan to like say anything. She just wanted to like get it all out there.
Yeah, she just wanted to talk. And so yes, obviously like this whole wanting recognition thing is like reflecting in her demeanor throughout the entire like throughout the episode, but like especially with like the train case, because like she wants to get full credit for the case, so she, you know, searched through the garbage so Nolan would be just a footnote on the report. And like later she's worrying that like Larry's gonna, you know, take over the credit since John's working with him now. And even though Nolan's like, no, your name will still be on the report, she's like, it better. And John gives her a look and she's like, I mean, as long as justice is served. Like, way to attempt to be subtle there.
Yeah.
Lucy.
She was almost like, no, I need to get that credit, like, you know, as if it's the only thing that I have left or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know, I'm like reaching here when I say this, but like the scene, it wasn't the whole scene when they're at the train, I almost said train station, that's not right, the like train tracks, when like Lucy was seen alone for that brief minute chasing down like the last suspect in the dark, I kind of thought it was sort of to like, you know, kind of attempt to show that she can like do it all on her own. But I don't know if that was like intentional or not. Maybe it was just how they like spaced out the scene, I don't know. But yeah, so kind of in a way the like Chenford dance scene like kind of brought her like whole validation like kick into like full circle, which was nice. But yeah, so aside from the major moment at the party though, people on Twitter like found Lucy had like was like dancing with like Lila for a quick second, or like dancing, you know, like twirling around like by herself.
I saw the twirling around by herself, but I didn't see the Lila part.
It was it was like literal like a second.
Oh my gosh.
Like I don't know how people caught that, but yeah, it was fun. That dress is like so pretty.
Yes. I just feel like they all had a lot of fun filming that. Like, because I feel like a lot of it was kind of just not ad-libbed, but you know, not like written on the page. So like they just kind of figured out what to do. And like the Chenford dance, the twirls and stuff. I was like, is all of that written? Because I feel like some of it isn't. And like the Nyla and Lila stuff, like them kind of just dancing around. I was like, okay, what is written and what's not? Like that's always my question. Especially when it comes to fun scenes like that. But
and then like the ADR kind of came into play for that last little bit of the scene.
And were like Lucy and Lila supposed to be dancing, or is that just kind of the way, like, you know? I don't know. Like, I just want to know. I also would have loved to be like a fly on the wall at that night scene.
For sure.
Especially because the behind the scenes dropped and True was like, there is no music playing. So it's like, you know, that they were just like dancing to like nothing.
That's true. I forgot about that.
That had to have been so like
how
awkward.
do people do that? I always want to know that, and I always want to know whatever like background or like extras are like if they're talking, quote unquote, are they actually they can't I mean are they actually
speaking? Like holding a conversation?
Can't pick them up, or are they just mouthing things? Like I want to know these things.
I feel like they're actually saying stuff.
I would
the
think so.
the mic just doesn't pick it up.
I really don't know. If anyone actually listens to this and like knows that answer, please tell me. I'm begging you. I've like wanted to know this for literally probably like 10 years. I kid you not.
I'm honestly just like so enamored with the way that like TV shows film
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta know.
Yeah.
Um, but I just enjoyed like they both stand next to each other, all the videos playing, they're smiling in sync, they're clapping in sync, like what the hell? Like,
It's literally the best moment ever.
how do they do this every time? I can't.
And honestly, it was the best, like, for where their relationship is, it was the best part. Like, we
Yeah.
didn't need anything more than that.
Right.
And it would have been a shame if we got anything less than that. Like, it was just perfect for where their, like, quote unquote relationship is. Because, like, they're not in a romantic relationship yet. They're like
No.
towing the line between platonic and like romantic. So it was just perfect. Like,
Yeah. And just like, yeah. Oh, I wanted to share that Melissa put on Twitter the like behind the scenes fact. That okay, well, I just love that like she calls Eric like by his last name. That's so
Yeah.
fun. Like it's like she and Winter were having a like laughing fit over like True's dance moves apparently were like really just like fun and just like
you could see him in that video.
yeah, and that like I think someone gift the video.
Yeah.
Which was fun. And you could like kind of see them in the I guess like the back half of like the dance
Like,
floor,
yeah.
like kind of watching everyone before they actually dance themselves. Yeah. But neither of us are going to do their actual scene justice, so we
I
will
couldn't even if I wanted to.
no. Unless you just want to hear me scream for 5 minutes, which no one wants that. So
I mean,
we are-
I live tweeted in all caps. Like at one point last night, it was
Yeah.
like, I'm so sorry, but it's just gotten to the point. I think it was when the party was going on. I was like,
Yeah.
we've got like 7 minutes left. I'm doing it. Like, sorry. It's all caps time.
Yeah, it was so good. So we are going to pull the audio.
You know, technically, I still owe you a dance.
I mean, there's no technically about it. A debt is owed.
Listen, I know you think I've been taking credit for your work, but
I know. You said that's what happened.
I did. But like, that's not what I was gonna say. You're a good cop. You know, maybe even one of the top 5 I've ever trained.
I cracked the top 5, huh?
Like, I want you to have a successful career. I have decided to list you as the arresting officer on all future reports.
But you're senior officer.
I know. But you deserve to be recognized.
You're right. I do. Thank you.
Oh, I know what I wanted to say though for my last like thought. So I was
What?
talking to my friend Kristen and I sent her the clip obviously because she's like finally all caught up on the Rookie. Kristen, love you. Hi, here's your shout out. We've been friends since we were 8. She knows I do shit like this all the time. Are you kidding?
No, I love the way that you did it.
But I was like texting her and I was just like, I am dying over this dance. Like, oh my God. But I was like explaining how like they do things that like, see, this is why I wish I had my phone in front of me, but I don't. So we're gonna try to remember what I said. Like they do things that kind of like you said, like toe the line between like platonic and
Mhm.
romantic, but like they do them either in casual ways or like within casual environments. Like
Yeah.
Lucy gave Tim the audiobook. That was a nice gesture that was done
like in
and
public.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like he was working out or whatever, like casual, like everyday kind of moment.
He gave her
And
back the ring in the boxing area. Yeah.
yeah. They, I mean, even like the food like in the hospital, like that was kind of I mean, it was like a not a casual thing, but just like they just deliver it in such a like a not casual, I don't know, like just easy. And I don't know, I mean, I'm sure some of that is just like how Melissa and Eric are, or
Yeah.
like their, you know, off screen like friendship, you know, like coming through, like reflecting in
Yeah.
their chemistry on screen. But just like, and like with this dance scene, it's like it's about work technically, but it's like, you know, they're doing this like somewhat could be conceived as romantic if you didn't actually know
Yeah.
that is, which,
Well,
you know, they're
yeah.
both still in relationships right now. People.
Well, and what's funny is like, you know, in the beginning of season 4, Tim was like, well, people might think that, you know, it's something more. And it's like, dude, you're
Yeah.
like out of like you're with all of your coworkers. Come on.
Yeah.
I thought about that too, because I was like, okay, so when she took his hand, like, you know, she like gently like put it in and, you know, was kind of cute, was all cute about it. When they were dancing, they weren't like far apart. You know how like some people are like, at least when you're at like high school dances, you're just like all awkward with someone.
Yeah, you have like the arms are like straight
Yeah.
out. There's like no bend
Yeah.
or give at all. Yeah.
I mean, and obviously like they're not in high school, but like they're not, like you said, they're still in other relationships. They're not romantically involved yet. They're like towing that line between platonic and romantic. You would think that it would be like a little bit more like awkwardy
Yeah.
with the dance, but like no. Like they were as close as they could possibly get. I'm sure that and like her
well, that's what I
hand
think. It's like Melissa and Eric are just kind of like probably just going with it, you know, and are like, okay,
they
it's
know
like
that it's
Chenford
gonna
dance
ruin us.
time.
They know that it's gonna ruin us and the entire fandom. Like they know that. So they're just like, let's do it. Let's go all in.
Yeah.
But like even her hand was like wrapped in his. I was just like, this literally it could be a lot more awkward than what it is now. And it's not. And it's like,
Well, and just like even like when I mean there were a couple twirls, and a couple like like they went in full circles around, but like even like after a twirl and then like her hand has to come around and like land back on him, like she did that so like smoothly too, like there was no awkward, like they're just so good
and they were so fun about it. Like Tim was like, and twirl or whatever, and Lucy was like, ooh, Bradford moves. Like I was like, okay, this is a lot for my little heart to handle right now.
Yeah. It's like if they did all an ADR, God bless Melissa and Eric. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
So,
oh my gosh, I loved it. And I'm glad that it was saved for the end, but like also I wish we had more of it. Not just like a minute.
Yeah.
Literally it is a minute.
Yeah, it literally is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because like other people, because like they not zoomed out, but like the camera, like I don't even know. I'm making this motion that no one's gonna be able to see. But it like moved up, it like carried itself out like over, not overhead, because you didn't really see anything else, but it just kind of faded up into black. Like for the end of the episode. And like people were like, well, it kind of looked like, you know, she could like lean her head down on his shoulder or something, because you know, that is like their height difference essentially. It's like that way. But then other people were like, what was the other thing that people
caught one glimpse like when I was pausing it or something, and I was like, it looks like he could like kiss her forehead.
That was it. That was the other one I saw. Yeah, I was like,
I just saw the head on his shoulder today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't
but
know.
It was just so good.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't even care that Tim wasn't in a tux again. We got that in the season 3 finale. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I
It
don't even
didn't
care.
seem so like Wesley was a little more dressed up, but like so was Angela. So I feel like they kind of had to. John, I think, was a little bit more dressed up than Tim, but like it seemed like it was very casual anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Mhm.
I loved how like so before the episode, Eric came on and he was like, it's gonna be a good one or something. And then Melissa was also on, and
Yeah.
I think you were like doing something else, and I knew that
I
you
was,
weren't really
yeah.
watching live.
Mhm.
And like some of our other friends, like they're not caught up or like they weren't able to watch live just
Yeah.
because time zones and stuff. And I'm like, who can I scream with this about? Like, I don't know. But I was like, why are they aligned? Like they're just here to cause chaos. Like
Yeah.
that's all that it is. But
Mhm.
yeah, then Eric was like, it's gonna be a good one. And we were all just like the eye emoji, like, what do you mean? What
Yeah.
do you mean?
Yeah. Well, then he came on later, right? And it was like, okay, East Coast, you're done. Like, okay, West Coast, it's your turn with the little wink emoji. I'm like, sir, do you mind?
And he asked to like East Coast what they thought, and it was like,
Yeah.
you know what we thought.
Yeah.
So good.
And I think
Well,
Melissa on Instagram was like, P.S. on an unrelated rookie note, did I miss anything last night? And I'm
yeah.
like, help. Like,
It
I
reminds me
can't.
of when some of our other favorite actors, like their characters finally hooked up on
Yeah.
TV, and then they came on Instagram the
Instagram.
next day and they were
Yeah.
like, so anything good happened? And it was
Yeah.
just like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
They so know. But it's
Um,
great. I love when people do
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, same.
Mhm.
But I also loved how William, the set decorator, was like, oh, I'll share pictures and stuff like after the
Yeah.
episode, like enjoy that. And I was
Yeah.
just like, I love that. Like, I love this cast and crew.
Yeah.
They're
It's so
just so
good.
interactive with us and like, it's just
It's
the
so
best.
done.
Honestly, like, this was such a good episode. I was just like,
I'm done.
yeah. So then the last part of the episode we have is Wesley, James, and the video that we need the full video and bloopers as well.
Literally, yeah.
Because I mean, I just want it like just to watch it on repeat.
Yeah. And I
So
just love how they utilize stylists so
yes,
well. Like, it was
yes.
so nice. I love that.
So James and Wesley are in the community center, and James is, telling him about the morning. And James is like, oh yeah, I couldn't be happier. And Silas is there, and he's like, well, why are you lying? And James is just, oh no, James cops to it. And he's just like, well, it's because I panicked when, she said that we should get married. And, I didn't say anything when she told me she was pregnant. And so I just didn't want to freeze again. And, now James is like rethinking the whole thing. James is like, I'm totally in love with her. And he's just like, I don't know if avoiding being called a baby mama is reason enough to get married though. And on top of the fact, he's just like upset that she stole his thunder. So he definitely wants to marry her though. And he just thinks that like they should get married for the right reasons. And he wanted to be the one to propose. So, James is like in his feelings about it. I mean, as he should be, right? Like that's a
I was
huge
kind
thing
of
for
surprised
guys.
by that though. Like, I don't know why though. Maybe it's just because I don't know, because like they are kind of opposite. So like, but like, I don't know. I guess I just kind of thought like, because he just seemed, I mean, he's like passionate about like his community work and like obviously he's very much like an activist and like stands up for these important, crucial social issues. I can't believe I got all that out in one go. But like, I just wasn't expecting him to be like so traditional, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I was kind of thrown off by it too, but then I was also like, I can see him wanting to be traditional. Like they haven't done things in the most traditional way as it is now.
True.
So I could see him kind of being like, no, I want this to be traditional.
That's true.
Yeah.
If you look at it that way.
But I also love how Silas is there and like helping James finish his thoughts. And I'm just like, so James has confided in Silas. Like, that's great. I love that. So then they turn the conversation around and go through more of their lists, which at the time we didn't know what this was until like it, we found out then in this. So Silas is saying that Miss Parker down the street, her court date was moved to next Tuesday, and the case against her is that she got pulled over last month for a broken taillight. And somehow she ended up in custody for obstructing an officer's duty, which I didn't totally catch this on my first watch because I was just like so busy just reveling in the fact that we got James and Wesley again, and then Silas and all that. So when I heard that she was in custody for obstructing an officer's duty, I was like, so what exactly did she do? Because my mind's like going to the most like obscure, obscene thing, but I don't know.
I just had never heard it phrased like that because there's like obstruction of justice or I don't know if it's like, well, no, it's like resisting arrest. I don't know if you can like obstruct it. You can obstruct an investigation. Not really obstruct an arrest though.
And you can like obstruct evidence from being like shared. Yeah, I don't know. So they're helping her walk through the system. That is, if Wesley can take her on as a client. And Wesley's like, yeah, sure. Cops get car stop training and the public's just expected to figure it out. And James adds that with black drivers, it's like a minefield where the wrong move can lead to police escalation. So Wesley's like, well, I can donate some time, hold some classes. And Silas is just like, yeah, that's a bad idea. Like, no. And Wesley just, is like, oh, I don't know about bad. And Wesley's just the ever optimistic person in the room. Like, you could always count on him to be optimistic. So Silas points out, he's like, well, who's going to have the time for that? To get the message out, you got to take it to them. And so he suggests making a video that people can watch whenever they want and, like how many ever times they want. Silas is like, I can direct it, but I have to warn you, I'm an auteur. So then we see Wesley, James, Silas, and Gray all filming the video PSA, which last night I called it an ad about live tweeting, but clearly that was not right. And
I wanted to call it an ad too.
Yeah, I thought at first it was an ad, like to help Wesley drum up more business. But yeah, no, it was a PSA. I also like could not form words last night. Like there was just too much going on, and I was like overstimulation, like on all fronts. But in the first video, they're covering a person's rights as a driver and some do's and don'ts to keep that driver safe the next time they're pulled over. And so Silas has Wesley like move to his mark. James is sitting in the car, modeling everything that Wesley's saying. And Gray like walks up to James's window and he forgets his line. This, I didn't totally, like, I did not catch it all on my first watch. But, Gray's like, what's my line again? And it's, do you know why I pulled you over? And I'm like, Gray, you're a cop, dude. Like,
yeah.
Okay. But like, I also figure he's not on the streets a lot anymore, which is a shame. So he's not doing that a lot. But then, Silas interrupts him and he's like, no, it's have any idea why I pulled you over? I don't accept line changes. Like, run it again. And I love that Silas was just like so serious about all of this. Like, I love him. Yeah. But Gray, says the line again, and Silas is like, nope, stop. Like, we can't do this. And so he tells Gray that he needs him to feel the scene, be a cop. And Gray's comeback is, I am a cop. And Silas is like, no, be a cop. Make us believe. And like he puts his like hand on Gray's shoulder. And Gray's face is just pure gold. I mean, this man like literally never, like, he always has a reaction.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And like I have my closed captions on for the second watch, and you can like hear Wesley's laugh. And at first I thought it was like it wasn't supposed to be in the show.
Oh my
like
God, really? That's
yeah.
so
but closed captions picked it up, so I figured that it was. But it was like a wheeze laugh. It was the best thing ever.
Well, I can only imagine just
Loved
like,
it.
oh my god, I just love just Richard is my favorite. He
Yeah.
also delivers his lines perfectly, or just the expressions. It doesn't even have to be a line. It's just
Yeah.
like a
It's
face.
so good. Yeah.
It's just so good.
Yeah. So then the next point that they're talking about is if someone is pulled over by the police and doesn't have immigration papers. And so James, shares what should be handed over when stopped by the police. And Gray, asks James if he's a US citizen. Wesley then stops and is like, "Are you a federal immigration officer?" To which Gray replies and is like, "No, I'm not." And he's just like, he's got like tact about it. And then it's shared that you don't need to discuss your immigration status, which is great. So like they walk through the process of like what you should and shouldn't do for each of these videos. So then Silas is like, "It's going to take all of my skills to make this video watchable," and he'll be editing all night. So then James is headed home too to talk to Nyla, and he doesn't want her to feel rejected. So he's like, "I love her. I don't want to screw this up." They end up talking. I don't know why I put this in here versus the proposal, but and he prefaces it by saying that like he loves that she proposed this morning, but wants to make sure that she's 100% sure. That definitely should have been up with the proposal.
Did you forget the part where I talked about Tim for 10 minutes? It's fine. Like in the middle of the whole Lucy thing. Yeah.
Okay,
fine.
when I was going through the proposal, I was like, something is missing here. Like I'm missing something. Put it down in the wrong section. It's fine. So yeah. So then okay, back to the whole video thing. So the next video is like about what to do if you ever find yourself in custody.
Please, I love how Wesley was the one doing it, and I was like, and he's in his outfit too. I was like, oh
my
my
God.
god.
I know. I was like, Wesley, a criminal would not be in the outfit. I mean, I guess
So
like
funny.
maybe if you embezzled a bunch of money, but like even
Yeah.
then, well,
It's like he's really showing off. Like, you want to talk about people having money? Like, Aaron has money, Wesley has money. That suit, it wasn't even a suit. It was like a
It was like a really
turtleneck
nice white coat.
or something. Like, I don't know. It was the funniest thing.
Well, it just gets so much better because Gray's the one that's like, this video is about what to do if you ever find yourself in custody, and he just says it so monotone and just like has no expression on his face. And Wesley's just there in his fancy white jacket for the mugshot, and then like they walk over and he picks up the phone because they're like, you only get one call, so if you have a lawyer, call them. He picks up the phone and then doesn't say anything. He just like smiles.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. I was kind of expecting Silas to be like, and Wesley, say your line now, please.
Yeah.
I wrote it down for you to say.
It was just the best thing ever. I was like, oh my God, can we please have more of these three? Because the chaos that they exude is just like, it's top tier. And then, I mean, you could even throw Smitty in there too. And I mean, you'll just really have like, I would watch an entire show just around the four of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it like reminds me of the season. I think it was season 1 of the LAPD like video or whatever that Lucy, Jackson, and John did, and Lucy kept saying the LADP.
Yeah.
Like, all that, and like they just kept like messing up or like saying things. That's what this reminded me of.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That was nice.
Yeah. So that was it that we had on the episode. I feel like we've definitely covered it all. We did not leave anything out.
No, we did not.
Not that I can remember. So we did ask what everyone loved about the episode. So we have some listener thoughts that we'll go through now. Do you want to take the first one?
Yeah. So Diane said all the Lopez moments, the Nyla and James content, and of course Chenford, the dance. And I like her hashtag. She's like, we won.
know.
Like, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And she said there was a bit of everything in the perfect portions. So many laugh out loud moments. There was still crime solving and dancing and all the feels.
The episode was perfectly portioned out.
It was.
It was
Yeah,
great.
for sure. And she's like, oh, P.S. I like Balin, but what's up with all the sexy talk?
Yeah.
Fair. It just like, I don't know what it is, because it's like, I don't know if it's just like, how do I put this? Not that I don't like Balin, I just don't like those characters being the ones to say these lines. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really work for them.
Hot take. I even think that if it was Chenford saying those, like way down the line, obviously, like they're romantically involved.
Yeah.
I don't even think that I would like them saying it.
No.
Like, I don't think that it needs to be said. Like, it's already implied because they're together. I mean,
Yeah, maybe.
Like Bailey could have even said, I have a new outfit that I'm wearing tonight or something. And that would have been fine. That would have been enough. Like, yeah.
Or
So.
like, John will see less of it when he comes home. Like, I don't know. Or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm apparently the new person that's gonna write all these things for them. Just kidding. I am not. That is not my new job. Sorry, Diane. Back to your thought. This is a top 3 episode for her. Love seeing Nick Sanchez back as Silas. Yeah. His parts with Wesley Gray and James were too funny. And the Smitty jokes and him tearing up at the proposal. Yeah, that was so, like, of all the Smitty things, like, that was definitely one for the books.
I feel like we haven't had Smitty in a while.
Yeah.
Like, I also don't remember the last episode that he was on. Like I said, I feel like it's been like a blur.
2.0, I think, because he was the QAnon.
Oh, yeah. That was like, what, 2 episodes ago?
Yeah.
So Bonnie had said Aaron tackling Tim into the goose poop was funny. Along with, it serves Tim right for dismissing Lucy's concerns. She loved I mean, I guess, I don't know. I didn't put the 2 and 2 together until I'd seen other people talking about it, and I was like, I guess, I don't know. And then she said she loved the dance and loved having Badger reappear. And she said the cringy Nolan and Bailey was a flat no. Yeah.
Oh man, I guess we know what people did not like about this episode.
I mean, it would have been different if it was just 1 episode, but like the fact that it was 2 back to back, I was like, we don't need that. And it was the end of last episode and like kind of the beginning of this one. I was just like, it's just too much. Like, no.
Yeah. So Ricardo said, of course, the Chenford dance scene. Also liked the interaction between Gray, Silas, James, and Wesley. Still thinking about what Tim's superpower is. Oh,
yeah.
Where were we? Oh my god.
We were so focused on Angela's.
Yeah.
What is Tim's?
Well, I have a dumb answer, but
what?
No, I'm not saying it.
I feel like you have to know. What is it?
Like, look at him. This is a superpower. Get it?
Yeah, but it has to be his superpower as a cop.
He's strong. He can take down people. I don't know.
He's tough. I don't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't take any BS.
Yeah.
I feel like him and Angela's superpowers are probably the same or very similar.
Or just like, he's very good at getting inside people's heads.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if that's like a maybe. I don't know. Maybe that works.
Yeah. Trisha had said, I loved the CHENFORD dance. The Wesley, Gray, James, and Silas stuff was amazing. Along with James proposing to Nyla with Smithy in the room. She laughed out loud at that part. And Aaron tackling Tim was great. So true. Yes.
Yeah.
Everything about this episode was great.
Mhm.
Everything.
Yeah. Maggie said the CHENFORD dance and all the Lucy content was absolutely fantastic. And Smitty crying after James proposed to Nyla was great. Yeah. Gotta love Smitty. Gotta love Smitty.
Lydia had said Tim had the best deadpan lines. The video making was funny, and it was nice to have some moments with Nyla and Lila. It definitely was, because we haven't seen her in a while. Like, even for the Halloween episode, it was rumored that wasn't actually the actress. So
yeah, I was glad we got to see her, not just hear her.
Yeah. And then Lydia also said that she liked Larry's arc and how they acknowledged him. And then, of course, the CHENFORD dance, and Tim had hard eyes for Lucy. He definitely did. And they were like springing out of his face, you know?
Yeah.
But, like the gif, yeah.
Yeah.
And then she said Smitty was there for only a second, but stole the show. I laughed a lot during this episode. Same. Same.
Yeah. So true. Valerie said the whole episode was great from start to finish. CHENFORD dance was her favorite thing. But the PSA video and all of the pairings were so well done. The Tim tackle and Lucy willing to go dumpster diving. Why didn't I call it that? What is wrong with me with just saying garbage like every 5 seconds? Why didn't I just say dumpster diving? That's wow. Okay. Good call, Valerie. Good call. For the Lucy being willing to go dumpster diving so she can be in the spotlight. And the Tim tackle were so funny. It really had a season 1 feel with Tim and Aaron answering random calls.
It definitely did.
Yeah.
I feel like it had a season 1 feel anyway because of the comedy and stuff. Like, I love this season, and I love the cases and everything, but I feel like they've kind of gotten away from it just being an episode of pure comedy, not just like one little comedy storyline. But yeah, no, this one was good.
Yeah.
It was a nice bright spot in season 4.
Yeah, for sure.
And Ray said she just loved Aaron tackling Tim. That was a highlight for her.
Yeah. That's so fun that lots of people like that moment. I just didn't know what it was gonna be, so I was just when that happened, I was like, wait, what?
I thought it was actually gonna involve the geese. I was waiting for it.
Same.
But yeah.
Well, like I said, I literally thought Tim landed on a goose. It's not what happened at all, but that's fine. Laura said the reappearance of Larry the Badger and how he didn't let his one mistake derail his career. Yeah. Go, Larry, go. The CHENFORD scene at the beginning of the episode, and of course their dance scene. Nyla and James's wedding was great. It was so cute with the interaction between Lila, Nyla, and James. Yeah. That was nice. Definitely.
Yep. And then Janine had sent in her notes and said, in 2 weeks we get to meet Simone, and they served up a treat since we've been seeing the promo for the past week. Yeah, they showed it really early.
They did, yeah. And then they showed it
last night
episode,
too.
Obviously. Yeah. And I was like, oh right, duh, we've already seen this.
Which it's gotta just be because it's a 2-part event and trying to advertise a possible spinoff. But yeah, so, and then Janine had said if Lucy continues riding with Nolan, she's almost blown up next week or in the next episode. And she's been she's getting shot at or been shot at and now blown up again. We need to stop hurting her, protect our sunshine. But yeah, she said the 2-parter looks good and she can't wait for it. Same. I'm interested to see how they like introduce a new, I'm assuming it would be a set of characters if like everyone besides Niecy stays on for the actual like spinoff. But I know sometimes with like backdoor pilots and stuff, like they could just keep one or two actors and like scrap the rest. So yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
But Janine said that Nyla was the cutest in the cold opening and did not like the term baby mama. Um, but you know, James woke up listening to her, and of course he had no choice but to agree. Um, and she said she loves the bond that James and Wesley have. And Silas, like we need to see more of him. She said she couldn't stop laughing all night from his first comment to James saying he's lying about being excited about getting married to him as a director, bossing Gray, Wesley, and James around. Really, those three she would have never pictured together and would love more scenes with them. Same. I definitely want to see Gray interacting with everyone more, but more so with the significant others of his cops.
Mhm.
I don't know why. I just feel like it would be really cool.
Yeah.
Um, Janine also said that Nyla is a no nonsense girl. At the same time, when James said that they should wait, uh, it was hard to see Nyla like sad, and Angela all excited at the prospect of them getting married and coordinating everything. Um, she loves the friendship that like Nyla and James have with Angela and Wesley. Um, and she said that she loved how Nyla and James are and the proposal, and the fact that Silas filmed it too. Um, and even like, the whole like Smitty part of it too. Same. That was just too good.
Mhm.
Um, she also commented on Lucy complaining about Tim and writing with Nolan. And like Lucy's face was one of those like, hey, don't say that. Like, you know, he is he is the worst, but like also I'm the only one that can say that about him. Um,
Yeah.
but she she loved that they ended up getting on the train case and that we saw Badger as the freight sergeant. Um, and just doing all that he could in that case. And then she had said that no one called to Lucy loose, and questioned, has that ever happened before? And I saw other people commenting this too. And I feel like when Nolan and Lucy were a thing, he did that. Like he called her loose.
I don't know. See, because it's been so long since they've been a thing.
But I feel like it
I
was
can't
swept
remember.
under the rug.
I can't remember.
Like it was a quick, like,
What probably.
if you miss it, it's gone. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, I didn't even catch it the first time when I was watching. I only caught it the second time when I watched it with closed captions. That
Yeah.
he even called her loose.
But yeah, people wanted Tim to call her loose first, which I don't know. I want to say that Nolan did when they were like a couple, but I don't fully know.
But if you go on to fan fiction, Tim's the only one that does it.
Yeah. Yep. And then she said, Lopez and Harper were tough on Harry, or tough on Harry. Oh my God, tough on Larry. Um, and she really did feel bad for the guy, but mad respect for him turning a bad situation into a good one. Yeah, and so then she had even commented on the new partnership between Bradford and Thorson. And she even put in parentheses, so nickname is Bradson. I feel like, okay, I saw quite a few people going with that. And I remember when the behind the scenes came out and I was like, so Bradson or something like that. So I mean, I don't know. That just seems like a better like like friendship name than like Thorford or something. I don't know. Um, but yeah, so like she loved how Aaron was waiting for the Tim test and like Tim gave recognition to Harper. But they ended up like talking about superpowers and everything like that. And she said we need True as a regular, which same. I honestly can't believe that we haven't got that news yet. But like part of me is like, are they not gonna have him be a regular? Because their name is the Rookie. So are they just gonna continue to bring someone in as a rookie like every year? Like a new person every year?
Yeah, because I was wondering if like I don't want his storyline to wrap up when season
Mm-hmm.
4 does, but like I don't know, like, I don't know if like he would continue being, like finishing the FTO program in season
Yeah.
5. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
So yeah, so then she said next on to Chenford, she gets why Lucy was mad. He really did nothing to let people know that like she was helping solve the cases. And yeah, so then Janine was like, if I was Lucy, I'd be like, right then when he had called over to Webb, she was like, I would say, fine, you can have the recognition because I'm telling Gray that I want to permanently ride with Nolan, and that be like a way to punish Tim, which would be funny, and I could see her kind of doing that. And then Tim's
Honestly,
face is like,
though,
what the hell?
more of a punishment would be having Tim ride with Nolan.
Yeah, it would be.
Like, oh god.
Yeah, and so then she had said, I don't know what changed Tim during the episode, but during the dance, when he confesses that he knows she thinks he's taking all the credit and her eyes drop, I was like, oh, he finally gets it. And then he went further to say like she's a good cop, and from now on her name will be on the reports. And he finally acknowledges her, and the way that it looks like they're both looking at each other's lips, I kind of caught that.
I didn't catch it at first, but maybe it's just because like I was just so like, oh my god, they're dancing. Like I wasn't even really processing their like, heart eyes or other facial expressions.
Yeah.
Where they were looking.
I kind of caught that because it looked like her eyes like went down when she was like, yeah, I do deserve that or something. Like, I don't know. I was just kind of like, okay. So she like scanned down his face and, he's looking down now. Yeah. But Janine also said the sexual tension that came from just the dance scene was intense. And she thinks that even non-Chenford shippers could have felt that. And it ended with them and Tim twirling Lucy before it cut out. It looked like she was going to put her head on his shoulder, which would have been swoon worthy. Yeah. So
I just still can't believe Eric delivered the like I know, like 2 words, 1 line.
Yeah.
And made it just sound like in love.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
Brilliant.
It was so good. So good. Yeah. So that's it for 418. I mean, there was a lot, but like this episode it had like 4 storylines going.
We had a lot to say. We had to talk a lot.
Yeah, we did. We got a text from one of our friends. She like sent a screenshot of Jenna's Instagram story. And it looks like Bailey could be getting kidnapped in the finale.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Because she had tweeted or she had posted like a picture of what looks to be like in the desert. And they are filming in the desert.
Oh man. Is that the one that everyone's going on about the
motel?
What is it? No, well, I mean, yeah, but it's like the title of the episode or something, like something
like
in a hole.
Yeah.
Stay in a hole.
Something. And
I don't know what it is.
Someone was like, is Lucy getting kidnapped again? I don't know. It looks like it could be Bailey.
Yeah.
Because then people were also like, Rosalind's coming back. Like they were theorizing that. Like that would be a good way for her to come back.
And well, like if she escapes or something? Oh,
yeah.
Good Lord. Oh God. Oh man.
Yeah. Because it looks like Bailey or Jenna's lip is busted. It looks like she's in like a hoodie.
Oh. Because like I know in the 2-parter or whatever, it looked like she was like
she's in camo.
Yeah, camouflage, and she's carrying a weapon of some sort or something. Yeah. So maybe it was like a glimpse into her army days or something.
I don't know. That or like she had to put on like her, like she had to do another job or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh man. Crazy stuff. Well, if that is true, I'm sure we will get Balin action moments though.
They're gonna be a cliffhanger.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which honestly, I think I'd rather have them be the cliffhanger than like Lopez or Chenford or Nyla and James.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
But like my mind's also like thinking, are they gonna try and like spin it off of Dave Death? Because you cannot do that.
Well, and like, remember when Bailey beat the crap out of the
Kidnapper?
Russian spy? Whatever the
Yeah.
girl,
Yeah.
the garage or whatever, because no one was stuck in the freaking fence again.
Yeah.
And couldn't get out to help her anyway, and she just beat the shit out of that woman.
Yeah.
And held her own just fine. So like, unless they drug her.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Lucy could have like, messed up Caleb or something, but
yeah, I mean she did. She got a good, once she was like,
like
she
came
put up a
back.
good fight. Yeah. So it's like the women of the Rookie can like hold their own.
Oh
but, like,
yeah.
they always get put
Definitely.
in. But I can't because Angela's already been taken.
I know, and Lucy has to. Like,
Can't do that.
why do we need to keep doing this kidnap scene? But then there was also like behind the scenes of them filming at like a motel. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But we have like a month until the finale. Do you know how fast it's gonna come up?
I know, I'm thinking about it. Oh my god. Well, because like I'm still thrown that it's like middle of April
I know.
already. So
I know. Like we literally just started April. And how was
Crazy.
Friday like the middle of it? The middle of the month. Crazy. I mean, next Sunday is Easter. Like that's insane. So yeah.
And we just had our like 1 year thing.
I know.
Like last week.
I know. Oh my goodness.
It was fun.
Yeah. It was.
Lots of things.
Yes. Lots of things. Yeah, so anyway, if you're still around after this, I mean, God bless you.
I will literally make you the paper trophies that Lucy did, and I will send them to you guys. Kid you not. Because we are especially out of it right now.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what? There's no other way that I would want to break down Chenford's dance in like this great episode.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys can find us on Twitter at the Shop Talk Pod _ or email us at shoptalktherookiepodcast@gmail.com with all of your thoughts. You can find us individually on Twitter too. I'm at jstark804.
And I'm at Carrie Hyman.
And if you guys are looking for some rookie merch, we have a TeePublic store. Our bestie M just created a new design for us. It's a great one. It's based off of the line that was said in the last episode. So yeah, go ahead and check that out.
It's Sean approved as
yes,
well.
It is.
It is. On Twitter,
I DM'd her that and she was like, oh my God, stop. I was like, girl, you just keep killing it.
So good. The talent and like Melissa's like fan edit thread that she put on.
And M just like spammed the thread. I was like, yes, go girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go off. Like, yes. There's so many talented people.
There are.
Like, yeah, because I can't draw anything. I mean, I can edit videos, but I can't like.
I can't even do like a huge like fan edit like that though.
Yeah, I can't.
I mean, I would like to think that I could, but like the transitions, pulling the clips for me just takes forever.
Yeah.
Like,
This is why I write things.
I just give mad credit to the people that create that stuff because I could not. It would take me a lot longer, I'm sure. So
go check out Melissa's thread if you have not already, because there's a whole collection now archived on Twitter.
From like digital designs to like drawn out, like hand drawn designs
like sketches.
to videos, like fan edits, all of that. Like it's so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we'll be back. We'll be taking a break for next week just because of the holiday and all that. And we'll be back on at the end of April for a recap of 419.
Yeah.
Bye guys.
Bye.
Go get him, boo.